Good morning, everyone. It is indeed wonderful to see you all again and to be with you. Today we shall speak a bit of the profound and intense transitional energies which will be flowing into Earth and into you in the coming year. Much will be happening, as most of you have heard. There will be transitions in every way, at every level, and these will come to be much more clear to especially light workers, people of higher vibration. You will begin to experience some of the result of these changes in your energies and structure and so on, the changes that have been manifesting over the past few years, especially the past year. For those who are willing to let go of the old, new ways of functioning at every level will be available, and change will begin to be visible in the third dimensional world, the external world. Of course, there's no such thing as an external world, but for the sake of this discussion, what you see around you will also begin to change in visible ways. We've talked about this many times. You'll begin to actually see changes to finance, some in government, social structure, etc. We've discussed these things in the past. The initial influx of these intense transformative energies will be in March. There are two astrological and astronomical events in March which will be very powerful. Indeed, the energies for these have already started flowing. The first will be on March 9th. At the time of the new moon, on March 9th, there will be a total solar eclipse. Not many people will see it because most of it's over the Pacific. The visible part, the visible aspect of it. 2 weeks later, on March 23rd, there will be three aspects or three events to a new energy, transformational energy. March 23rd is, of course, the first equinox of 2016, the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere. At this time also, on the 23rd of March, there will be a full moon and a lunar eclipse in which the moon, of course, passes behind the Earth into the Earth's shadow. The energies during and following this second March event, the result of both of them, of course, will be new codes, bringing many new aspects of both balance, energy balance, and power to the Earth. During March, and then also in the ensuing year, but especially March, there will be changes to the flow and structure of time and space. Now, of course, there have been changes to time and space on this planet for quite a while, years, especially in latter years, especially 2015. And of course, these influxes of energy, these transformational energies build on each other, each one creating the fabric, the structure, the matrix for further changes and further energies to have effect. So time and space will be changing in a way that will begin to be readily apparent to some. March and the ensuing year of 2016 will prove to be challenging for many. There is an aspect to these energies. Think of it this way, perhaps. Think of it as a reset in the fabric of time and space. Now, these resets have been occurring one after the other. This one will be an especially intense reset in time and space, in the fabric of these things. So the very energy fabric, the very energy matrix within which you function, especially in the area of time and space, will shift. This, of course, is to allow you and ascending beings to move to a new level of functioning at higher vibration. As we've discussed many times, the energies of ascension or enlightenment or the divine energies of the fifth dimension and beyond do not involve time, except in a very gossamer sort of way, say in the fifth dimension, for beings who will be functioning in a multi-dimensional way. But basically there is no time, and space is completely different. Space being how matter multi-dimensionally interacts. The nature of these changes to time and space and other related energies will have the effect on higher vibrational beings, that means you, of providing the opportunity for you to put aside old ways of pretty much everything, but especially old ways of approaching your life, your path, yourself, relationships, holding on to old belief systems, holding on to old ways of treating time, and scheduling will begin to make less and less sense and simply will cease to work very well. And there will be much opportunity to put aside the remaining belief systems, the old paradigms, whatever little traumas or major traumas are left, attachments, sometimes relationships that no longer resonate, that simply don't fit. We've spoken of letting go of these things many times over the past year. And this is yet a new level of that, because even more so than the last transitional energies, as we say, the very fabric of time, the very fabric within which you create, live, manifest, it's changing very rapidly. This is good news, just to be clear. It can sound a little frightening the way we talk about it. It's not meant to. The level of challenge will be a direct reflection of how hard a person is clinging to their old ways of understanding and functioning in almost every way. So there will be many beings who are still pretty locked into third dimensional belief and functioning in that habit because of their vibration and so on. And for them, these times will become increasingly confusing. Old ways of doing things just won't work out very well, is the appearance of it, in many ways. For you, as we've just said, it's an opportunity, yet again, to just let go. Be open to experiencing new levels of awareness, understanding, meditation, creation, manifestation. Be open to rising to new levels of understanding and perceiving, rising towards that point of divine understanding. And you really don't have to do anything except not hold on to the old ways, the old belief systems, the old paradigms, the old ways of understanding and approaching life and relationships and everything. You all of those in this room and all of those hearing these recordings, these teachings, are of sufficiently high vibration to where that's true. You just let go, and your vibration will rise. These new energy ways of being and adapting will simply take place. Now, yes, of course, it does help to meditate and so on. One aspect of these intense transitional energies will be new levels of bringing higher balance and more perfect balance to the divine feminine and divine masculine energies on the planet and within humanity. This will become apparent over the year in many ways. One way in which these transformational energies will be reflected is in relationships. And this is something else we've spoken about a fair amount. It's simply a fact that for virtually every light worker, there will be times when the beings, the people with whom they used to resonate, where there was some ground for relationship, there was some level of mutual understanding and communication, these people will begin falling away, or turning away, or running away. It depends. And as we've explained many times, the simplest way to look at this is simply energy. As you take on and assimilate ever higher vibrations, as you begin functioning, even if you're not that conscious of it, within a new matrix of time and space, and simply existing, beings who are still fairly tenaciously clinging to the third dimensional holographic projection of life on Earth will more and more cease to understand you or relate to you. There are some light workers who are in a certain way hanging out, waiting for these situations to resolve themselves. And in some cases, perhaps this is the best way to go. Other cases, perhaps there are more kind and beneficial ways to approach these things. The level at which, or the degree to which, a light worker's energy or a higher vibrational person's energy is affected by another, by say a lower vibrational person, there are many aspects to this in terms of the intertwining and the flow of energy between these two. Generally speaking, this is a generalization, generally speaking, the closer and longer the relationship, the more intertwining and connection there is between two people. So there are quite a few light workers who are reaching a point where maintaining a relationship or relationships that no longer serve, that sort of energy connection from that acts a little bit like an anchor to the third dimension. It inhibits or can inhibit a light worker's process of assimilating higher energies and of moving into this higher vibrational matrix, a very fluid, by comparison, very fluid time and space. We understand that for many, this involves relationships that have lasted a very long time. So it's up to you. It's always up to you. And of course, remember, whatever you do, of course, whatever you do it with unconditional love and kindness, which does not mean, unconditional love and kindness does not mean doing what someone else wants. We've talked about this a lot, actually, so we won't go into this again. So once again, we ask you to be mindful. And challenges, we can pretty much guarantee that challenges and change, the rate of these will be increasing. So please remember, whatever you're going through, it's for the best, because it is creating the space within which you may let go of old approach, old paradigms, and accept the new, and approach your challenge in a place of unconditional love and higher vibration. Remember all the changes you are experiencing, the rising in vibration, the release of that which no longer serves. All of this, whatever it looks like, Mother Earth, Gaia, is also experiencing. Because you are one. We are one. Which, by the way, is another understanding that will become more and more clear as you release the old and rise in vibration into these new matrices of time and space and of being. So remember, your light workers, we know that we remind you this every week, but we say it once again. You're light workers, and you're paving the way. You're clearing the way. So each time you make a decision to let go, each time you decide to embrace change with unconditional love and faith that it's all for the better, each movement you make, each awareness you achieve, each higher vibration into which you ascend, with each little one of these, you are creating the space and clearing the way for Mother Earth, for Gaia to do the same, and for humanity to do the same. You are way showers. You're pathfinders. You're path creators. So another reminder as you head into this very profound year of change, do your best to stay above the fray. Do your best to rise above the world of appearance and what often appears as confusion and conflict, and the personal dramas of those who may still be close to you. It's very important that you rise above the fray and not buy into it. And that you, as much as you can, center in your own divine core, reestablish within your hearts, in your 3 heart chakras, in all aspects of your being, reestablish, recenter in the energies of unconditional love, and stay connected with us ceaselessly, all the time, as much as you can. Make it so there's never a break, if you can, and that will happen between us, your ascended guides, the ascended masters and angels, and other forces of heaven. Maintain this connection always. And we will help you always. We're there for you. These are indeed exciting times. And it will become easier and easier to move ahead and let go as you begin to truly experience what it's like to be an ascending being. This is now. These energies, the initial energies we've discussed, are right around the corner in a week or so. So this is now. This is happening now. We're very excited and pleased looking at all of you, how well you're doing. It gives us great joy. So that is our message for today. We will take questions if anyone has questions.
I have a question. I've always been a soul who enjoys learning and studying different aspects of the spiritual life, and I find that I have less and less time for any of that, and I'm just wondering, with all the shifting and changing changes that are going on, if perhaps it isn't necessary. Perhaps being connected, that information just sort of can be intended and arrive.
Well, the short answer is yes. So It really is up to each individual, of course, but we're looking at you right now, and this is the case with many, if not most, light workers. The time for studying and understanding and pursuing is pretty much ending. Unless it depends on you. It always depends on you, of course. It's your choice. But yes, the way you put it was just fine. Let go of third dimensional understanding. Let go of mental and intellectual understanding. Let go of everything. And simply hold yourself in higher vibration, connect with us, and allow yourself, your multidimensional self, to rise even further in vibration, frequency, understanding. And by understanding, we do not mean with your brain so much, of course. We mean in your intuitive, inner knowing kind of understanding. Your empirical understanding. Did that make sense?
Yes. So there's no need to continue to read all the books. The knowing is there.
No, and it's not that anything's wrong with the books, of course. The books, most books, the vast, vast majority of books and courses that have been around for a while, this includes various teachings from teachers and gurus and so on, were designed for use and understanding in the third dimension. So their day is pretty much done for those who are currently now in the ascension process. Indeed, there will be a point at which continuing that sort of activity is it becomes another form of anchor into third dimensional belief in energies. None of it's really cut and dry. It's different with everyone, but those are the basics of the situation right now. And there are third dimensional beings, and we don't mean that in a critical way. There are many on Earth who do not yet have the higher vibration, who are not yet able to connect intuitively with their inner knowing to grasp some of these energies and ideas, where reading and listening to teachers teach in what we'll call the old way, where this is beneficial because it will allow them to move to new understanding, to a new level of willingness perhaps to embrace a spiritual path. But for you, it's really not necessary.
I have a question, please. You mentioned letting go, and that's been a focus of your discussion here. If I may generalize, I think a lot of us think we do let go or are trying to let go. Perhaps you can help us understand in ways that perhaps we are unconsciously not letting go and hindering ourselves in some way.
Okay, there's one easy test of this, or one easy prompting for you to look, is if you're feeling dis-ease or you're feeling discomfort or challenged, something doesn't feel right, it's causing some distress within you, then it's because the energy, your energies, your belief systems, your kind of hardwired karma or third dimensional habitual response to these things is still there to some degree. So this holds true with just about anything. And most light workers are still in the place where they're going to have habitual third dimensional response or reaction until they catch themselves at it and make the conscious decision to understand that the energies and values and beliefs behind this experience are no longer valid, and just to let them go. There's all kinds of things. Let's say that you lose your job, and even for those people who've been thinking of quitting for a long time, there's still something about that kind of experience that brings stuff up. Fear, rejection, whatever the feeling may be. So this is, you will have many opportunities in the coming year. Most light workers will have many opportunities to let go and move to higher vibration. Just allow yourselves to rise. Some of these things can be very subtle. Some will be like a board upside your head. Does that help?
Yes, I think so. Thank you.
Are there any more questions? Very well. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for being what you are.